Hey guys, this is Asad Siddiqui. I'm the owner and developer at iDesignSmart.com, and I'm very excited to bring to you the latest and greatest Avada theme customization tutorial. My tutorial will be based on Avada 5.0.3, which is the latest release from WordPress theme Avada. The author of this theme is Theme Fusion, and I will show you some of the things that are enhanced in this theme from the last time I created a demo. A lot of my viewers requested that I come up with a demo again with the latest and greatest theme so they can see all the newer options and the new ways to import sample content and so forth. So I'm gonna select a new demo that is being built by Theme Fusion and provided free of cost to you. What I've done here is I have installed a fresh instance of WordPress and installed Avada theme. I do not have any sample content or anything to work with, and we are going to use let's use the technology demo here. So we are going to use that, and we will set up a site like that. So in this tutorial, my objective is to make you understand how the theme basics work, how you can configure different options, how you can import the sample content, how to set up the plugins that are needed, and the basics of Fusion Builder. So they have come up initially. Avada had only one plugin called Fusion Core that they used to have, and that control all the plugins that their builder generates. Now that is divided into two plugins. One is called the Fusion Core and one is called the Fusion Builder. So I think in the future that might be available for any theme that you like. For currently, I think it's only available to use with the Avada theme, and they have pretty much written it from the ground up. So everything is changed, or most things have changed about the Fusion Builder, and we'll touch upon that. We'll also touch upon the new options panel that they have packaged with this theme, and I am really impressed by some of the options that they have. This is a very powerful and slick WordPress theme, and you can create very slick looking modern nice websites with it without having much knowledge of CSS or HTML. So without further wait, let's jump right into that, and I will get started by importing the sample content. So what I've done here is I have my theme registered with the product registration tab. I'm not gonna click it because I don't want to expose some of the information there, but you can register your theme after installation. You can just click that and then generate a new token and click a button. So doing that will give you access to all the theme updates with the click of a button. So you don't have to go in and FTP updates and all that. So you just can click a button and update your theme to the latest and greatest version. Updating themes are super important for WordPress websites because of security concerns and being like automated like malware and spyware. So you always want to have the latest. Other thing is this theme comes in bundled in with a bunch of plugins. So if you click on the plugins tab, then you will see that there are a whole lot of plugins that are available to me. So these plugins, I have activated the Fusion Core, Fusion Builder, Layer Slider, and Slider Revolution, and Contact Form 7, because the demo I want to use, or any demo for that matter that is available, will use those plugins. That is essential. So let's see how to import the sample content. So what you want to do, if you are in the back end of the site, you have two icons, one of the left hand side panel and one at the top. So you can click on any one of them and either select install demos here, or you can click on install demos there. Actually, on this page you can click on this tab which says install demos as well, and then it'll display to you all the demos that are available. So you can certainly select whichever one you like, and if you want to preview them, you can go to the avada.theme-fusion.com/demos, and the same demos are available here as well. So you can also click on the button that says preview and it'll give you a preview. So let's click on install, and it displays a warning. It says that you need to have these parameters set up, which I do, so I'll just say okay. And while it's doing this, I am all for supporting the community, and if you have any questions or any technical feedback that you would like, feel free to leave a comment. If you do not have the time to work on your site and you are looking for a professional who can help you, feel free to fill in a form on my site and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. So I think it's done, and we are going to refresh the page here. And once I refresh the page here, we should see the content coming in. Okay, so I think all the content got imported except for the sliders. So they don't package the sliders anymore, and the size of their imports, like the size of the theme, has drastically reduced because they are not packaging the sample contents with the theme anymore. So what you need to do for sliders, I researched a little and then I came across this free slider exchange that is created by Theme Punch, who is the author of Slider Revolution. So basically these are all free sliders that you have access to, and you can pretty much get any one of them and use it on your site, and you have total control on it, so you can change the images, change the text, however you want it to work. So this gives you a good starting point. By the way, I do have a video that shows how to create sliders using the Slider Revolution plugin. And you can refer to that video if you want to know exactly how to build these sliders. But for now, what I've done is I have downloaded and imported one of the sliders that were available from here. So what we are going to do is to I'll show you how that works. So you can go to Slider Revolution tab, and once you go to Slider Revolution tab, you see this web product dark is being imported, which was available. If you want to import another one, or you want to know how to import it, you can click on import sliders and you can choose a file. Now you can browse to a zip file that they will give you and click on open, and once you do that, it'll have this import slider button and you can simply click on that. So then it will become available to you. I want to know what the short code is for this, so I can put that on my page. So I will click on the slider settings here and I will grab this alias. So I will grab that alias and then I will go right back in my page. I'll just click on that, and similarly you can download any slider that you want by clicking on this download icon. So now I don't need this window, so I just close it. Don't need the Avada window. All I'm concerned with is my site and my sliders and my content. So the edit page is right there. We are going to so this page is built using the Fusion Builder. The first thing that you need to do after the builder is activated, you can always go to a default WordPress editor by clicking on that button, or you can come back to the Fusion Builder, and it's not going to change how your page looks, but it's going to change how your page is designed. So this, as you can see, has a lot of shortcodes and parameters that are easy to edit visually. So if you want to do that, you can just build this in the Fusion Builder, and all the containers are available. Now you can collapse all the containers by clicking on this little arrow. This makes a little easier for you to work with page options, and you can click on individual items if you want to just expand one container. So that's pretty cool. That's a new feature that wasn't available before. But to change the slider, what you want to do is go to page options. So these are the page options that overwrite the global options that you have. So for example, I'll show you the example later. First, we will select Revolution slider, select one of our sliders, and click on update. So once we click on update, and click on refresh here, instead of this notice, we should see a slider coming in. Okay, so I just refreshed the page and there is my slider. So it has some effects. It's an animated slider. It's like a hero slider actually. So if you go to the right, it moves to the left. If you move to the left, it goes to the right. It has some buttons and it has some text. So it's a pretty decent slider. And then you have menu at the top, and the menu color will change because the theme options are set, the logo on the left side and the menu bar on the right. So the menu bar, if you click on that, it'll scroll to certain pages, certain sections on the page. So this is like a one-page parallax type website, which is a pretty modern style. I'm not gonna say it's the best style or it's suited for every site, because if you're a SEO fanatic, then you know that you're working with one page as opposed to more pages. So the more content you have and the more focused you can make your pages, it is better for SEO. For right now, this slider is also missing, so I'll just get rid of this section where there is a honeycomb design. So to do that, I'll go back to my page and see where is that image reference from. So I'll click on the background, there it is. So I'll just remove that and save it. So if you didn't understand what I just did, you just need to wait a couple minutes and I'll explain everything. How this design works is there are full width containers. So every element that you have has to belong to one of the containers. So first thing that you need is a container, which is represented by a blue bar, and you can certainly name that container anything you want. So you can do that and then click outside and this is saved. And to collapse the container, you can simply click on this little arrow. To collapse all containers, you can click on this little arrow in the black bar. Now you can also go back in history on your edits, and this history is a new feature that you can access with this clock that they have added. Also some global options and icons. You can click on this to delete the container altogether. This is also the same for columns. So if you go to the column, you'll see the same notation. So you have delete. You can save a column to a library and use it later for other pages. You can save the whole container and use it on other pages. Then you can clone a container using this icon, clone a column using this icon, and then you can edit the properties of this column using that, and you can edit the properties of a column using that. So a container properties by the container icon and column properties by the column icon. So first thing you need is to have a container, and the inside of the container you have columns, and then you in the inside of the columns you have elements. So for example, if I go right at the bottom of this page, and this page has a lot of content because it's a single page site. So if you go right to the end, okay, so you'll see that you can add new containers. So I'll just add a new container and I'll say half and half. So I want to have a container with so I'll just name my container that, and then I have two elements to work with here. So on the right side, let's say I want to display an image, and these containers are drag and droppable, so I can drag this at the top if I want. So I will choose an element. So when you click on the element, you can select from a library element that you have saved to your library, or you can select from the builder elements that are available. So here I want to use an image. So I will just go with an image frame, and the image frame can have pictures. So I will do that and click on upload, and I have a picture here that I really like from my site. So I'm just gonna use that. So it's gonna upload the picture, and I will insert that to my image frame like that. So the picture is there. Now you have a bunch of options, like you can select style type, hover type, you can say zoom in, and then you can also select which elements or screens this element will be displayed on. So you can say small screen will be for phones, for tablets, and for desktop. So you can select all those things. You can also have some kind of animation. So if you want this to be sliding from the left side, you can do that. So it is the sliding from the left, and then you can save it. So the image is saved. Now I want some maybe text on the right side. So what I'll do is click on that element. You see that you can filter these elements by typing into that search box. So instead of, because there are so many choices, you can have counter boxes, you can have flip boxes, you can have countdown timers, you can have menu anchors, sliders, image frames, buttons. So to simplify that, you can type whichever element you're looking for. So once you do that, text block is like a WordPress editor, so you can put images, you can put short codes, you can put text. So I like that, and for this one I'm just gonna grab the first couple of paragraphs. This is some sample text that I grabbed from my own site. Actually, we'll just go with the single paragraph, so let's go with that, and we'll put some other element underneath of that. So now I have that, and I will just say save. So I just added a new section or a new container to my site, and I'll drag this to the top, or like underneath of the first section that they have. So this is the first section where they say virtual reality. I'm gonna go right after virtual reality and drop that. So once I do that, it's gonna fit right there, and then I can, okay, so then I can just update the page. I don't know if I clicked on it or not. It doesn't look like it took my click. I'll click on update again. So now it's updating. Once it's done, I can go ahead and refresh this page. While I'm at it, I will also delete that slider reference because it keeps showing up as a red thing and not very visually appealing. So we'll first figure out where that is. I think it's right there. I can just delete that. Actually, I'll just delete the whole column which has the slider, and then I can update my page again. By the way, if you are in the domain or hosting market and you're looking for domain names and hosting, I do have a very nice coupon which will literally let you test anything for a penny for a month and still give you a 30% discount. So if you want to use it and get the hosting that you need, high quality, I will appreciate it, and I'll do get credit for the sale. So thanks very much for that. And refreshing the page again. Okay, so now we see that the slider is gone, and now we should also see that a new section should be added to my site. So what is virtual reality? There it is. So I just added another section to the site, and I have a bunch of text, and I have this. So now I'll show you some of the cloning that you can do. So let's say that instead of having my own section, what I'm gonna do is just clone the feature like this section. The future is here, so I'll clone this by clicking on this button. So by cloning, I'm getting all the styles that they have set up. So here is the clone, and then I can just remove the columns or remove the elements inside the clone. Actually, I will just get rid of that and get rid of that, and then I will drag the other columns that I have. So I design smart. I can just grab this column and put it right where I want it. So I can add that there, and then I can go down and grab my other column, and then I can leave it here. So that is done. Now I can save and update. Before I do that, I also want to show you some of the cool things about the container. So if I go to container properties, I can certainly specify whether this content will be taking 100% width of the container, or you'll see some spaces. You don't have to mix the content width with the margins and the full width of the page. Now, as you can see, the page here is taking full width of my display screen. So you don't see any margins or background of this page. Now, how is that done? That is done with the option for page template. So I'll show you that in a second. Actually, let's cancel it, and I'll show you that first. You see the page template here is 100% width as opposed to default template. And if you were to select default template, you'll start seeing some borders, and the page width will be as you set it up in the options. So we'll take a look at that. Let's update the page and refresh it. So I'll refresh the page. And now as you can see that my columns are actually right there. So it is, the image is sliding from left, and you can come up with your own layout. So you can have 3 columns, 3 images, you can have alternating images. This image is configured to zoom and hover, so all that works. Now let's say if I had to maybe add a new element here, I can click on this button or click on the plus columns if I need to work with more columns. If I want to add a container here, then I can click on the container button. But I want to just add an element. I just want to add a, maybe let's add a flip box. So you add a flip box like that, and then your flip box is right here. So you can click on the edit icon, and then front side heading, and the back side heading, and the front side content. I'll just grab a line or a couple lines from here, and the flips box front side content goes there, flip side back side content goes there, and I will select an icon as well. So the front side text, instead of white, I will go for a darker shade so it's more readable, like that. And then maybe it has the font awesome icon, so I will go with that as well. So I'll click on icon and save. By the way, that font awesome also lets you filter the icons, which is a great functionality. So I just added a flip box to my design, and I can also do like images for the full width container. So I can container and go to design. Now here you can have an image in the background, sorry. So you can specify a background color for your columns or container. So your container will have a background color of that, and you can also define the transparency, which is pretty cool. So you can define a transparent type color as well. So you can define the transparency of the color. If you don't like a color, you'd like to have a background image, maybe you can go with that as well. And right now I think the only images that I have are dark, so then the text won't be readable, so I will just leave it at a background color. So if you do have a background image, then you can go with a parallax type setting. Maybe I'll also show you that, but for this column I'll just go with a very light color in the background, and this color should be take the full width of the screen. So once my page is updated, I will go back here and refresh my page. Alright, so now as you can see, there is a very light gray in the background taking the full width, and then there is a flip box on this page that that is like an icon at the top and flips. So you can have multiple columns, multiple flip boxes, and you can like change it any way you want. You have total control on the colors and things like that, how many columns you have. So really what it comes down to is you have to come up with very nice looking layouts, and that's pretty much it. So if you know how to work with the theme and create nice layouts, that is your job is pretty much done. So another, like, we can also look at some of the interesting things that they've done. Certainly this background is very interesting. So it looks like to me that the background of this container is done with images, and this is inside of a column. So if we go back there and we see how it is done, you see the image is right there, and if you look at the container background image, you'll see this slanted image. So that's exactly how they did it. That is fairly like that is pretty nice. Also, if you do have a background image for your section, then you can specify if you want parallax. Parallax is when the image is stays where it is and the text over it and the image is a scroll. So that's a popular effect as well. And how this is working, because this is a single page site, they have menu anchors above the section, so they can scroll to these places when they click on menu icons. So you can certainly do that, and they have used some shortcodes. For example, this one right here is a blog shortcode, so you can scroll down to it and you will see that they are using a blog shortcode for that. So if you go down, you'll probably see they are using a checklist here. So you can use a checklist like that. They have 4 checklist icons. Each checklist item can have a different icon and text. So you have total control over these various elements, is what I want to convey. And then you have a tabs type image, so you can use a different like that. So you have accordion type tab images, and then you have a news section here, and there is the news. So if you click on that you'll see is no, that is just a text block type title. That's a title element, and that is still not the blog. Here is the blog. So they are displaying 3 blog posts in a grid format. They also have a bunch of support for other formats, and whatever components or widgets you want to use, you'll have to read a little bit or play around with them a little bit to know exactly how they work. And maybe if you have a custom CSS requirements, you'll have to write custom CSS. So I will move right into the theme options panel, and we'll go over some of the options, and I'll also show you where you can set up your logos and stuff like that. So let's change that, and I will also show you where they are set up. So from the theme backend, you have to go to the appearance tab, and from the appearance tab you want to click theme options. And once you have done theme options, I think I clicked on something else, or maybe I just clicked on appearance. But once you do theme options, it's gonna bring up the new options panel, and it displays to you what the version of theme is that you're using. Now this option panel was rewritten pretty much on the 4.0 update. So it was a major update, and they enhanced this thing a great deal. So all the options that you see here are categorized, and they have much better categories and easy to understand, because this theme is super configurable, and it can get overwhelming for a lot of new visitors. So they have categorized it to make things easier for you. Also, a great feature that I really like is the search feature. So at the top, like for example, if you write logo, just like Fusion Builder, you'll see all the elements that have any logo in it. So they have metadata that, like all the logo options, for example, mobile logo and retinal logo, and all these things can change. So that is pretty awesome. So without filtering for anything, first I want to go over these categories. Layout options control whether you are going to have a boxed or a wide layout. Boxed means that you'll have some kind of margin where you can put a background, or you can put some kind of images or things like that. Wide means that your page will basically take the full width of your screen. And if you're going to go with a boxed layout, then your site width will be controlled by this setting. Page content padding is the global option. Of course, you can override it with the page settings. I will edit the page and show that to you again. So how it is working, all the options that you see in the page will also be here. And if you want to make some pages special, like for example, you don't want to display a title in some pages, so you can configure that in the page option. So I will just collapse that, go down to where the page options are right here. You can go to page, and then you will see a bunch of page options. So page content padding, 100% width padding, these are also global options that the page is overriding. So global options you set in the theme options panel, and the page options you set here, they can be overridden. And then there are container options and column options that you have to set. So for the header of the page, this is displaying a header width will be 100%. This header is where the logo and the menu is. Background color is selected and the background opacity is selected for the header. So you want transparency, or you want however you want to set it. You can also specify footer will be displayed or not and configure that. Sidebars on the page, on the inner pages you'll probably have some sidebars, so you can do that. And title bar on the home page, they have configured it to hide, but like if your internal other pages, you might want to show that in the breadcrumbs. So the layout options that are important are here. Global column margins you can set up here. Of course, you can change it in the column properties. And single sidebar layouts, how much width the sidebar is gonna take. Then the menu options are very important. Like the biggest thing that you will see is what should be the height of this menu, and what should be the header style. So one of the options here is header, and if you go to header, it displays different kind of headers that are available, and one of the header that is new is this one with the logo in the center, and you have elements on either side of the logo. So that is a nice layout, or any layout that you want. Keep in mind that if you use any of these styles, then it's going to reset your menu settings and spacing. So you want to go there and change the main menu height, which will change the total space that the menu is taking in terms of height. Then you have a highlight bar size. If you highlight a menu, then it can get highlighted. If you have configured, right now they are not configured for anything, so it's not going to display. Menu item padding will be the spaces between menu and things like that. Now keep in mind that these configurations are only changing how the menu looks like here, not the actual menu itself. The actual menu itself is still controlled by the menu option in WordPress. So those are the menu options. Now you also have the flyout menu, like they have a little plus here. I don't know if they have configured in this theme or not. If you're using the header layout 6, then only the flyout menu. So I'm probably thinking about the sliding menu or sliding something. I forgot, sliding bar. So that is off here, but you can turn it on, and then it shows a little plus that you can click and it slides out and displays a widgets area to you. I'm gonna delete that. And then you have secondary or top menu. So in some of the header formats, you can have a top menu where they have a social icons here and a bar and a phone number and some contact information up top. So you can do that, but that also will need to be a change in the header format. Mobile menu, you can do some of that. Avada by default supports mega menus. So to do that, you'll have to go to menus themselves and enable. So I'll go there and show you. So you can go there is the menu, and you can actually enable the mega menus by, so I don't see the option here. I think page, no, I don't think. So I'll have to follow up on that and put a note in the description on how that is done, but I certainly don't see a mega menu option here. But I had it by default when I was using the other site that I did. So that is certainly there for my own site. So I will have to look into how to enable that option. The other thing for responsiveness, Avada is super duper responsive. That's the best thing that I like about it. If you want to turn it off and you want to have the same display for cell phones and tablets, you can turn that to off. Responsive breakpoints, I think you should not be changing those, but if you do want to change those, you can change it. That tells you what the screen resolution be, and if you go under, for example, if you go under 800, then that's where the header will change. And you can, if you go under 800, then that's like you can change when the header will change and display a responsive header when the content will change. So responsive options are here. Colors will be here. So the basic color scheme you can select, and the primary color you can select. Now if you want to change all the colors, wherever this is the color you want to maybe change it with blue, what I recommend is you just search for color, And once you do that, it's gonna pull up all the options for colors, and you can just in one go change all the options that you have. So now you can see all the colors that are in the option panel, and you can change wherever you see that green. So you can keep going down and maybe change this with some color code that you like. So that's the easier way that I like doing that, but you can certainly go the way that you want. Page title bars can be scrolled here, logo can be done there. So instead of that, I will remove that and upload a new logo. Maybe on my desktop. So I had a logo for my own website somewhere, so I will do that and select that. So once I save the changes, the logos will be displayed. Now this logo might be less wide and might not look as good as the previous one did. Oh, I'm actually looking at the demo page and not my own page, so I'll just close that window there and look at my demo page. So I just refresh it. Actually, it looks pretty good. So I just changed the logo there. I can also similarly change the logo for my retina. Retina is 2 times the size of the main logo because it's higher resolution. Sticky header is once you scroll down the side, you still see the bar and navigation up top. That's the sticky header. If you want to enable it, you can. If you don't like it, then you can just disable it. And the color options and mobile logo and sticky header logo can also be different. So you can certainly have that. Then is the mobile logo. So you can have that. We talk about the menu, we talk about the logo. Sliding bar is what comes out of the little plus sign. Widgetized areas, and you can configure that under widgets of your site. Background will be, if you're going to use a boxed layout, then you can go to box mode background and you can have a background to your page. Blog options, you can set it for here, and single blog post, you can set it from there. Other than that, the important thing that you will have to do is to go to the advanced. Like if you are using any kind of analytics like Google Analytics or webmaster tools and stuff, and you want to put in codes in your site, then you want to use this section and utilize that to put codes wherever you need to. And while I'm here, I will also talk about dynamic CSS. That is something that I think you can check, like it's on, and it will optimize your site. So I'll leave it at that, and you can research on it a little more if you would want. And also good to know what are some of the code fields and theme features and tracking, etc. code fields you can set up. Now also import export options are there that you can explore. Lightbox options, and if you are looking to style your short codes, you can search for short codes here, and it's going to bring up the short code options. So this was my quick and dirty overview of how these option panels work and the page layouts. I will in the future make a more detailed video and talk about more about just the page layouts with Fusion Builders, and try to use as many elements as I can to give you a clear idea of how to do page layouts. But I think that's where all the expertise is, to be able to come up with nice looking crisp page layouts. So again, if you are in the market for domain and hosting or the theme, feel free to use my discount codes, and I do get credit for the sale. And if you are looking for someone to build you a crisp website, visit my website and contact me. Fill out a short description form and I will get back right with you. I do offer all these services at a pretty affordable rate, so make sure you check out my website, which is also done in the Avada theme, which I greatly love. So thanks so much for watching this long tutorial, and if you have any comments or suggestions or any ideas, feel free to leave me a comment. And my Facebook page and my website is in the description of this video, along with some other useful links, so feel free to check out the description and check out the links as well. Thanks very much for watching. Until next time.